So I want you to hear from him. He's super sweet, very kind of quiet. So if whatever you got to do to kind of keep focused in, because I was finding myself, he was losing me a little bit because he's just kind of dry. He's not like me where I stand on my head and burp jelly beans to keep you guys entertained. He's not that way. So just stay with me because what he has to say is so, so good. Okay. And then from there, we're going to wrap up. So I'm going to pass it over to Kate. She's already recording the Zoom. I'm going to pass it over to Kate, and she's going to talk you guys through how you can track if you're getting that 70% in each of the categories. So Kate, why don't you run with that and go for it, Sister. And y'all mute your phones if you're not muted.
Yes, I tried to get most of you. I have headphones on because we have chaos going on right now. We're replacing the dishwasher. And this is not lipstick. This is chapped lips, people. Fall is coming to Iowa. Okay, so I was talking to a brand partner today about tracking numbers. And if we do it the way David Bird says, I feel like half of you will be texting me in complete panic and disarray. And my little heart cannot take that this week. I mean, it's a Diet Coke night. Okay, so we're going to break it down and keep it easy. Do not get stuck in the details because we are not curing diseases here. You're writing little numbers down on your little paper and it is fine. Okay, so when you are tracking, I want you to look back at your weeks. And if you already lost those, don't forget when you put in your numbers to our database, you can go back in and check those out anytime. And if you don't know how to do that, we can help you, but you can look back. So what I would do is we're going to kind of play the all or nothing game when you're tracking your numbers. And if any of you feel like I'm talking down to you, I'm not, but I don't want anyone to get caught up in the silly stuff. Okay, we just want to get this done. So you're going to look at, did I do 2 to 3 sit downs this month? Yes or no? Right? Because you did or you didn't. I mean, if you did 2, you could say, okay, that's like 100%. If you did 1, that's 50%, right? Not rocket science. So you know your goal for that one. Do not complicate this. Okay. And then for bottles out, we said 2 a week. So on week 1, if you had 2 or 20 out, that's 100%. If you had 1 out, I mean, you can give yourself 50%, but it's not 2. So just don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not awesome at math, which math is not my most favorite thing on earth, I make the engineer here do that, but you can look at your weeks and say, okay, 100, 100, 100, 100, I nailed that goal 100%. Or 0 one week, 0 the next week, 100, 100, you got 50%. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't get lost in silly, like, square root of 50% or any nonsense, okay? This is not that big of a deal. I wouldn't even know how to do that. But just look, because we tracked personal development, that's all or nothing. You all commented on your reports, yes or no. So you got 100 or you didn't. For your sit downs, we just talked about that. For your bottles out, we talked about that. For your turning your phone off, you did it or you didn't. For your NLC points, I just want you to rate yourself whether you're NLC qualified or not. So if you're looking today and you've got, like, I'll admit it, I have 4 points, which I think I have more when Premier rolls through, but that's like ghost points because you can't see them. But I have 4 right now. And so I know I'm at about 75%, give or take, for that goal right now. So yes, you're going to approximate. No, Tanya and I are not auditors. We're not going to come through and be like, nope. Because you're all adults, we're not here to micromanage. We're here to help you lead your business. So you're going to write out those things that we've been tracking, however that works for you. Some of you, I don't know, use technology magic. Some of you just write it on paper and figure out what your percentages were for each week. A lot of them, it's going to be 100 or 0. Don't overcomplicate it. And if you got 0, guess what? You're still here. You're showing up. You're still above average. You're still in the top percentage of the teams because you're on here tonight. So it's fine. Don't worry about it. So I'm getting text messages. It's lovely. For those things, just write them out and track them. If you need help, number 1, remember, this is not an emergency. There's no fire. If you get less than 70% on your goals, you get a 1-month grace period because everyone deserves grace. No one is perfect. And maybe this helps some of you realize that this is accountability and it's good to actually do what you set out. So if you need, if your, I wanted to say grades, but this is not a grade. If your scores are not where you wanted them, just know that you can get there because you have next month as a grace period. Now, that being said, you have 4 days left, I believe, to get your NLC points. If you need help with that, we can help you. Follow up with people who've said they wanted to order. Figure out if you can offer free shipping. Figure out, I did a Facebook party, and we are not going to go into that today, but it worked really well for one of my customers. So that would be something we could talk about in October. But for now, just get high touch. Get in front of people, send messages, text them. Hey, I know you wanted to order. I'm offering free shipping, and I didn't want you to be left out this month. Let me know if you want to put an order in. Don't overcomplicate it, okay? Because other people would be just fine asking you to buy stuff from them. So when they send their little kids to your door to buy Girl Scout cookies, they sure don't give it a second thought. So ask them if they want to order, because if they tried it and loved it, give them that shot. But as you're tracking those points, if you need help, that's fine, but you're all adults. Just make a decision as far as how you think you're doing on those. You tracked them all, so it's pretty easy to check that out. But I've been really impressed seeing sit downs, seeing bottles out, NLC points. And I love just kind of getting in touch with this group every Monday because I see growth even with you all on Facebook. People just seem more positive and you seem like you're going after it. And I love that. And I know Tanya does too. So anything else I need for tracking? Are we good on
No,
that?
I think that's good. I think that's good.
Okay, I don't want to bore you to death. So I'm going to do some magic here. And if you're the praying type, put your hands together and let's see if this works. Everything that could have broken today is broken in our house. It's pretty great.
Oh, you're doing it. This is working.
I'm fancy. I have 2 degrees after all. Okay, I hope you all can hear this.
Take a look at how it's done.
Hey guys, happy 90-day run. Hope you're doing well. Maybe not seen you before, but not a problem. First would love to go through
Can you turn it up, Kate, at all?
a quick story. The beauty of being a national marketing director, actually my wife and I are 1-stars. We live here in Maine. And we had a real results party last night. And shortly after the real results party, I think we were leaving, I don't know, around 9 o'clock. And headed home and get a call from one of our daughters. Both of our daughters go to school in Cambridge, Mass, near Harvard, which is about 2.5 hours away. And one of them had, pain in her side, and we thought it was appendicitis. Talked to a nurse, blah blah blah. Anyway, we got back home. It was 11 o'clock, and we just packed up and headed to Boston. Over that time, she was admitted to the hospital, released. So we got 2/3 of the way down and figured, what are we going to do? We get down there and we're just going to turn around. So we turned around, and I think we pulled in here around 2:30 this morning. But, the beauty of what we do as national marketing directors, and, my wife still works 1 day a week as a dental hygienist because she loves it. But we can kind of do what we want to do. We didn't have to get up this morning to go to a job. Actually, we were part of a morning call 5 days a week, and we slept through the morning call. Fortunately, it wasn't our call this morning. But anyway, that's the great thing about what we do. We work hard and vacation harder. And anyway, like I say, most of you haven't heard my story. And I think after you hear my story, you'll say, if that guy can do it, anybody can do it. We can do it. I can do it. My friends can do it. I've always been one of those guys that was entrepreneurial. I worked in corporate America most of my life, but realized, there had to be a business out there that I could start, do whatever. But I never had a lot of extra capital to start a traditional business. My wife and I are both from Maine. We were living in Atlanta 25 years ago. I had hair then, and it was a different day. But anyway, heard about the industry. And at the time, I was busy. I worked at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. And I would leave oftentimes before my wife got out of bed and get home, and she was in bed. So maybe she got up, maybe she didn't. I don't know. I mean, probably the most stunning thing to me was our first child actually looked like me. Some of you will get that later, but anyway, no, not really. My wife is wonderful, and we worked this business together, but it wasn't always that way. Because when I first saw this business of relationship marketing, it really made a lot of sense to us. And my wife and I kind of worked the first business together. It was bad back in the day. I remember we had a condo in Powder Springs, Georgia. No, actually it was Decatur, Georgia, sorry. And I was practicing and I was drawing on a whiteboard like they used to do back in the day. Some of you might remember the whiteboard days in other companies. And my presentation was so bad she fell asleep. So hopefully you guys don't fall asleep tonight. Hopefully I can bring you a little bit of value. And I'm going to start, like I say, with the story and continue through that. So 4 years in that company, no success. And then it was another company. And we did okay there. We garage qualified like 1 month, and we got to the top of that company, and the next month we collapsed back down. All we did, was just a long story, but, it was nothing sustaining, and it was, nothing exciting at all. And then I think around that time we moved back to Maine. We wanted to raise our daughters here in Maine. So I joined another company. And that is where I met Jeff Olson and Mark Mishu. And fortunate for that to have happened. Unfortunately, didn't do very well. And that company either ran the market parties here. I don't even remember what they were called back then, but I ran them, spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars out of my pocket, every week. And just not a good situation. So left there. There was another company. Long story short, there was always this new story. And I was involved in a lot of nutritional companies. So it would be, 3 barefoot guys in the Himalayas. They found this fruit that no one had ever found before. And they made it into a juice. And it was the most amazing thing. And, we're going to make all this money. So I got excited to get in on board and join. And, none of that really came to fruition. Hey, we've had some great products in the industry. But what would generally happen is 30, 60, 90, 6 months later, days or months later, we would find the same product, maybe not as effective, but people don't get that. They don't realize. And it would be at Walmart, it would be at Costco, it would be wherever, and it would be about a third to a quarter of the price. So it's hard to explain to people why they're paying, $30 for this bottle when they can get it for $7.95 at Sam's Club. So, that's what I love about Nerium is the fact that we have something that's special. We have something that's unique and worldwide exclusive rights. Not many other companies have that. We were in a Real Results party last night, and I was talking to somebody, and she said, "What do you mean you don't have any competition?" I went through, if we went to, drugstore and got the low end cosmetics, skincare, you're looking at 2 to 5% benefit. If you went to Macy's or some higher end place, you'd find something that, might give you 5 to 8% over time, like the Obagis and L'Oreal and Lancome and that sort of thing. And then, our product, as we know, 30% on average in 30 days, just crazy. So that's why we have no competition. And that's why I'm excited about where we are. So, the crazy story is just, kept trying. And 5 years ago, I heard about this company. It was ready to launch. And I was not interested. And the reason I wasn't interested because I'm not a skate care guy. And I just, didn't see it. Well, fortunately, a year later, I heard about the company again. And I heard about a couple of very good friends now of ours. You guys all know Dale Munger, Dale and Vanessa, and Danny. And I heard that over year one, they'd helped about 500 people qualify for Alexis Car Bonus. And they'd helped hundreds upon hundreds of people earn an extra $500 a month to thousands and thousands of dollars a month. I thought to myself, this might be that Microsoft moment. The issue that I'd always faced in the past was it seemed like there were a handful of people making all the money, and then everybody else was supporting those people. But here, if you have in 1 year's time, you have 500 people in Alexis, and then you have, people earning commission, I thought this might be that Microsoft moment. So I got started. I didn't tell my wife. And the reason I didn't tell my wife is apparently we had some spoken, unspoken agreement, no more business. Long story short, I won't get into that. Maybe someday you'll hear her story and you'll hear her side of it. But long story short, she's now, my partner in business, just a huge asset for us. And, my best explanation would be I'm the head of the business and she's the heart of the business because everybody loves her. She's a dental hygienist of 30 plus years and she's a spiritual healer. And, she just adores people and they adore her. So, maybe that's why you got me. Maybe next time you'll get her and you'll say, hey, we don't want that other guy again. But anyway, that's my story. But I think the constant along the way, from there, I'll just finish that up. Sorry. 3 weeks, we were able to earn the iPad. 4 months later, Lexus car bonus. And in our 19th month, part-time, able to earn the $50,000 bonus. And, and that's where we met Tanya, I think in St. Louis the first time. And just got to see what a special person. I could just tell, what a light she was. She just had that beaming smile and a wonderful personality. And I'm just blessed to have gotten to know her. She's done a few morning calls for us. And I think I got her hooked up a little bit to do the Atlanta Regional with B. Shaw and that crew. But they just loved her in Atlanta. We have a few people on our team in Atlanta, and they just thought she was the best. So, you're in the right hands because Tanya is absolutely amazing. We've never been the top recruiter. We've never been the top in NLC. I think, since NLC launched, we've been in every month, but, it's been 5 or 6 points. It hasn't been 12 or 20 or whatever. We're just above average people that are, NMDs, just, staying in the club and realizing the importance in it and trying to get as many people in the club as we can. We started a 90-day run, I think just a little bit after you guys started. And my idea was, I've seen a lot of people that have been in this business a while and they've kind of plateaued and maybe even to some degree dropped back. But what I know is we've been through wave one. And Tanya, those of you that are new may not have experienced it. The company for about 3 years absolutely exploded. And what has happened over the last year and a half is that there's been a little bit of a leveling out and to some degree, the business has gone back. But what we all know here in Maine, the epicenter of the world for network marketing, not really, although there are two of us here. Did I mention in my story that my sponsor, who was a national marketing director at One Star, he quit. But that's okay. There was a weeding out process and he was somebody that needed to be weeded out. And fortunately for us, he was weeded out and we're better for it. But anyway, the next 5 years, and we're seeing it down in Florida now. We have a large team in Florida. We're seeing the explosion starting to happen. And it's going to be about a 5-year explosion. And it's not going to just be something, little like last time. This time it's going to be a tsunami. It's going to be huge. And you guys want to be a part of it. Make sure, everybody knows about this company. Absolutely everybody. So, I'll just leave you with a couple things. One of the constants for me has always been personal development. I've always worked on myself since the first company 25 years ago. Jim Rohn, Og Mandino, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, you name it. I have a pretty good library. We have lots of books. And just as a side note, one of the ideas my wife had a couple of weeks ago is at Nehring University to have a library. So I don't know, she brought up about 20 of my books, of our books, I guess, and had a little place that people could sign them out. And just kind of a cool idea, an opportunity for people to borrow books and, not have to pay for them. And I thought, it was a great idea. So, we're just excited about, what's happening. I'm a guy, I haven't watched the news for 15 years. If I'm in a room where the news comes on, I leave. I know for a part of my career, about 6 or 7 years ago, I was living back near where my parents were, near the University of Maine in Orono. And I had a small apartment in their house. And when they were home, they lived in Florida most of the year and in Maine part of the year. When they were home, I might have dinner with them a few times and they would have the news on. And the minute the news came on, I was out. Because for me, I just can't can't have that crap in my head. And, I see people on our team that you can tell they watch the news all the time because they're doom and gloom. But a couple things that I'll leave you with is, number one, I love Jim Rohn when he talks about the ant philosophy. He talks about, how an ant, if it's crawling across your driveway or, whatever it's doing, and you put your foot down, the ant will go around it, it'll go over it, but it just continues to go towards its destination. It's got the I will until philosophy. It's going to just continue to go and go and go. And that's what you guys all need. You got to have that I will until philosophy. Jenny Bird Greer spoke at the NMD Summit in Dallas, and she also spoke for the main stage. And one of the things that I took away, and you guys, you may remember this, and I just love this, when she talked about the three different types of people. And this is paraphrasing. I'm sure I have it in my notes, but essentially she said there are three different types of people. The first group are the people that are standing on the dock, and they're looking out at the boat, like the sailboat behind me. And they're just saying, I'd love to be in that boat. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe someday I'll get in that boat. And those are people on your team that maybe they show up to the market parties, and they're just there for social. Maybe they go to everything. They're almost 10 core, except for they don't do the 2-a-day. And, they don't do the things that they need to do to grow. Maybe they're growing, maybe their day will come, but right now they're sitting on the dock. The next group, probably the most frustrating, is the group that has one foot in the boat and one foot in the water. And those are the people that pick and choose. They'll say, well, Jeff, I can't go to the market party because, I might miss my kid's soccer game. Or, I don't know. Saturdays, we just had a new brand partner that was a brand partner of a brand partner of ours. And she said, well, Saturday I spend time with my husband. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? You have a chance here to change your life, and you're going to spend time with your husband who you don't even like anyway, who told you to quit this business. Okay, am I going too far? Well, that's the issue. Those people that have one foot in, one foot out, it's always something. I can't go to the national convention. Oh, I'll go to the next one. Well, no, they won't go to the next one because they didn't go to this one. They'll probably be out of the business. I can do this. I can do a few of these 10 core, but I can't do them all. And again, those are the most frustrating people. Jeff, why isn't my business growing? Well, let's take a look at the 10 core commitments. What do? Do you do 2-a-day? I do maybe one a week. Do you go to the market party? I go about maybe once a month. Do you go to the regional? I've been to the regional before. Have you been to a major event? Yeah, I went to one 2 years ago. Do you read? And this is the key. The key is personal development. And they'll say, well, I don't have time to read. Or, yeah, I listen to books on tape. Not the same. So I just say, look, get a book, get an Og Mandino book. Get something that's easy to read. That's a great place to start. I was never a good reader in high school 65, 70 years ago. But when I started reading personal development books, they made all the difference in the world. I love to read. I'm just always reading. I guess the book that I just picked up yesterday was Choices by Shad Helmstetter. He's also got a book that I like, and I can't seem to find it. What to say when you talk to yourself, or something like that. I don't have it handy, but that's a great book. Also by Shad, I think it's S-H-A-D Helmstetter. Two really good books. But, those are the keys. So those are the first two groups. And the third group is the people that have 2 feet in the boat. And those are the ones you want to work with. So what Jenny talks about is spending, almost all of your time working on personal development, your personal business, and working with those people that have 2 feet in the boat. And I think the challenge that we all face is that usually we're spending time with the wrong people. We're spending time with the people on the dock, and we're spending time with the people, that have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And that's the challenge. What, I heard many years ago was people like that should get group time. They don't get your personal time, they get group time. You'll talk to them at a market party, or you'll talk to them at a regional, or, something like that. But they don't get your personal time. They don't get, one-on-one time. So that's what I can suggest on that. And again, I think it was perfect what Jenny said. We just started a 98-day run. We had our first call on Monday, looking forward to the second one coming up. And I've personally talked with 31 of, I think, 72 people in the group. And the first one I wanted to do all myself. I'm not really sure why. It's taken a lot of time. But you know what? The time you invest in people is just priceless. I've had people say, Jeff, nobody has asked me these questions before. And, Tanya may ask you these similar questions, but the questions that I started with, and even if you're brand new, as you get people started, obviously you want to find out their why. And that's the first question that I ask. And I know for a lot of these people, I have known their why. But what I also know is people's whys change. We have someone on our team that has 2 different forms of cancer right now. And at one point, the business was more for her. And now, she doesn't know when she's going to check out. So what she wants to do is she wants to leave a legacy for her kids. And when I did the one-on-one with her this week, she was in tears because she understands, how precious this life is. But it's just been great to dig through. So the first question I asked the first time around is why? And the second question, and especially appropriate for those that have been around a little while, are, what has held you back in the past? That's question number 2. And then question number 3 is, what will you do different? What are your goals during the 90 days? And then the final one is, what will you do different during the next 90 days than you've done in the past? And you get some pretty telling answers. Some people, have a lot to talk about. Other people, not as much. And it's been fascinating to go through this. Some of these people, I knew their why. Other people, I didn't. And some people, I didn't know what held them back. And they've, most of them that I've talked to have told me exactly what it was that held them back. And that's been fascinating. And I would say about 80% of them, they get the same homework assignment. And I'm going to leave you guys with this. I don't know how long this call's been or this Zoom has been, but hopefully you've gotten some benefit out of it. But this is what my assignment to them is, 80% of them. Not all of them. Some were in a different place, and I gave them the different assignment. But my assignment, and some of you might already have this. Some people call it a 5-year vision. I think that's what David Bird calls it. Some people, it's called a day in the life. So essentially, it's some day in the future that is in present tense, and it's so vivid that, you can smell it, you can taste it. And I'll give you an example here in just a minute, but you want to put a lot of energy behind it, because if you're just going through the emotions with it, it just won't work. So here's a paraphrase of the first paragraph of our 5-year vision. What Rob Greer had us do, he's our elite leadership coach. He had me do one, he had Maggie do one, and then he had us do a joint vision. And that's been fascinating to put it all together, because you really want to be on the same page as your spouse. If you don't have a spouse, just do your own. But anyway, the first paragraph goes something like this. I'm so happy and excited as I jump out of bed and open up the shades and watch the waves crashing on the shore. I can smell Maggie's hazelnut coffee off in the distance. And the idea is have so much in this that you can actually smell that coffee. Maybe you can smell the aroma of the flowers outside. You can smell the saltwater air. And then the rest of it goes on to say, we're excited to welcome 50 of our NMDs from Australia as they come to our home here in the Caribbean for a weekend retreat. So that's what I've done. If you guys want to do it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. You get out of it what you put into it. And again, if maybe you guys are doing something else. But what I know is if you draw that out and you read it every day, there's no way that you're not going to start moving in that direction, because we all know thoughts are things. So with that, I wish you guys the best on your 90-day run. Hopefully I'll get a chance to meet each and every one of you at a convention coming up, or a regional, or an LA or something like that. But make sure you introduce yourself to me. I'm the guy that's about 6'4" and not a lot of hair. But anyway, have a great day. Have a good rest of the 30-day run. We will talk to you soon.
That was so nice of Jeff to do that for us. I actually asked him, and not because I've done him favors, but I've actually asked him to do a training. And he's like, Tanya, he goes, I do my same exact Zoom at 8 o'clock on Monday nights, just like you do. So I've got to be with my 90-day people. And so I said, well, could you record it? And then I asked Kate, is it fine for him to record it? Can we play it? Like, I'm not techie. You guys all know that. And so thanks for Kate for making that happen. Jeff Wildley is his name. I'm friends with him on Facebook. Send him a message, and just because when I did, and please do this, because when I did a call for him and his team, I can't tell you how many messages and how many thank yous and you were awesome and those kind of things. So do that for me. He's a great guy. And it's just kind of cool to get his perspective. The first 5 years of Nerium, guys, the next 5 years are going to be, like he said, a tsunami. So so last week I wanted you guys to ask 5 people the question, before Saturday. And this week's homework is I want you to create your 5-year vision statement or your day in the life. It could be a paragraph, it could be a page, it could be whatever you want it to be. And not 5 vision statement, like your 5-year vision. It's not a statement, it's more like your story, like he described. Talk through what you want your life to look like, where you want to be, where you want to live, where you want to go, who do you want to take with you. Get specific on it. And I loved it that he's like, his 5-year vision is his 75 Australian NMDs coming to his home in the Caribbean to spend a weekend retreat. How cool is that? I'm like, okay, I need to add that to my 5-year because I'm getting those Aussies. I don't care what you guys say, I'm getting them. But all that is, it's so cool, but it works. You get that in writing. There is scientific data. When you write down where you want to be, Carrie Searle, my second NMD, she wrote down a goal. 1 year from now, this is where I want to be. And if you guys know Carrie, 3 daughters, had to file for bankruptcy, single mom, living with her mom for 6 years. Life was not #winning on any level when she started Nerium. And after she started Nerium, she goes, 1 year from now, I want to move out of my mom's house and 100% be able to financially support my 3 daughters in our own place. Do you realize, as she was driving back from Chicago, the city, back to Rockford, where her mom was, she had just signed the contract for her new place in the city. It was 1 year to the day that she wrote that out. So thoughts are things, just like Jeff said. And the ANT philosophy from Jim Rohn, do what you got to do until you get where you want to get, and just be relentless about it. And that doesn't mean you got to do Nerium 24/7, but just be intentional with everything that you do. Thoughts are things. And I'm definitely guilty. I watch too much news. I'm not going to lie. The debates in the other room, my dad and my husband are watching it. I watch probably Dateline too much. And that's not necessarily positive stuff. Okay, people. So there's areas that I need to nip and tuck and I need to improve on, and I need to better myself, and thoughts are things. And if I want to get closer to the target, that 5-year target, or even maybe you want to do a 1 year, this isn't anything that you have to share with anyone else. If you want to, you can. And I would love to hear them, because I love that. I work, you guys, for you. I don't work for me. I'm happy. I'm fine. I'm set. I'm good. I work for you guys. I want your 5-year vision to come true. I want your 1 year day in the life to happen. I want your why to be a reality for you. And from there, let's do it together. And it's exciting for me. I think Miriam, we've never been in a more just a healthier place than we are right now. And don't forget too, I want to be intentional about all the things that I put in your brains. January 7th, another product is coming. We need to be packing our preferred customer list and as big as possible, because when January 7th happens, we're going to contact all our old PCs, all our new PCs. We want to get that product into as many hands as humanly possible. So be intentional. Now, as we go into the fall, I know people are going to rock and roll in this month. They're going to rock and roll in October. They're going to rock and roll about half a month in November. And then people all of a sudden get stuffing on the brain and turkey on the brain. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to hustle, but as long as you're staying intentional, thinking January 7th, new launch, January 7th, new launch. And then who knows what's going to be coming down the pipe with our Epic Lifestyle group. We do have a call tomorrow night. I want to say this, we're going to do Thursday night, an Epic Lifestyle call Thursday night. I want to make sure each and every one of you are on it. All day Friday, we're going to be doing recruiting calls. I am doing the 2:00 Central recruiting call on Friday. Say, Kate, you do 5?
Yep.
Okay, I'm doing 2, Kate's doing 5. We're every NMD on a camp. Danny, all of us are going to be taking 1 hour. These are calls for you to get your prospects on, but Todd's going to do the training on it Thursday night for the Epic Lifestyle call. He's going to be doing the training. If you need the replay for that call, ask me. I've got the replay number and I can totally get it to you. All that to say, let's load up those lines with potential brand partners, prospects, and let's get some people closed for you guys. I obviously want you to be NLC qualified, but I want you to get some new starts. I want you to have people in your organization that are sitting in the boat, 2 feet in the boat. And Jeff's just been doing this a long time, and it can be frustrating when, okay, I've recruited 3 people and they're just kind of looking at me going, now what? And you tell them and they're just kind of sitting there going, now what? And just never get into activity mode. That's okay. You're going to have those people. Don't let them get in between you and your life in the day, or your 5-year vision, or your why, or whatever reason it is that you're here. I'm not going to let anybody hijack what my family needs. And really, my why really is wrapped up in my calling. And I think it's evolving a little bit. Like over the last week, Brian and I were just like, oh my gosh, it's so cool how God's just orchestrating all this stuff and we get to be a part of it. You never know. But if you don't dream big, you're never going to get there. But it starts with you writing it down and being intentional every single day with your 2-a-day open mouth, open business. I know that the days where I don't get much accomplished for my own personal business with Miriam is days that I've been closed mouth. My business isn't open if my mouth is not open. So be intentional about that and share what we have and let people decide what they want their water level to be of involvement. They want to be a preferred customer? Great. You know how many preferred customers upgrade to brand partners? A lot. So just know, let's get them in where they want to be, where they're comfortable. And from there, always introduce the business that this is an amazing business and it's changing a lot of people's lives. This may or may not be for you. I say it all the time. This may or may not be for you. And if it's not for you, who do you know? Because I have a referral-based business and I love referrals. I say that a gajillion times, guys, and that will never change because we are a referral-based business. We love that. So Kate, is there anything you want to add, Turtle Dove?
Not too much. When you all are writing your 5-year vision, just keep in mind, don't play it too safe. And I'm the queen of organized and safe, okay? But don't. Because my first 5-year vision was so like, here's what it is, da-da-da, we're going to do. And it was so like contrived and not me. And I'm not going to lie to you. I did rip it out and burn it in our fire pit because life happens. Sometimes I have a temper tantrum, but 5 minutes or less. I'm rewriting it now because I have completely different goals. And I don't mean with Miriam because I feel like Tanya, I feel pretty set. I'm happy. I spent my entire day, literally, I don't know if I ate lunch, but I spent my whole day talking to you guys. And that's what I love doing. Yes, it was crazy, but it's fun. It's rewarding. I did take a break to plant flowers with second graders, but mostly I got to talk to all of you, and I got to hear some of you tell me your 5-year vision statements and your 5-year big ideas already. And these are big things, you guys. This isn't like, oh, I can't wait to go to Hawaii. Put that in there if that's where you want to go, but put big things, because you don't have to know how you're going to get there. It'll just start working out for you. And I know that sounds crazy, but trust me, God is a lot smarter than us. So just write out big goals, and that's all I got. Anything else?
No, I think that's good. And go with it. Just go with it. And you can get anywhere you want to get with this vehicle. I don't even think we've started to see where we're going to go and the capabilities and the possibilities for each and every one of our lives, and all the people that are included in our why and in the reason why we do what we do. I promise you, I've ran my face off. And those of you that are close to me know I've worked, it's called network marketing. It's not hey, let's go get a massage marketing. You can go get a massage, but hit NMD first. I mean, no. I didn't. Like, I was focused. That first 10 months, if somebody were to say, would you do it all over again? Yes and yes. It has gotten me anywhere I want to go, and way faster than I ever thought I would get there. But it has now allowed me, talk about fulfillment, to be in people's lives and to be a hand in them having their dreams come true and get you guys wins. Man, I don't care what a win looks like for you. I want to be a part of that win with you. I just do. And so with that, I think you guys are awesome. Don't forget your homework assignment, either a day in the life, a year from now, or a 5-year vision. Whether you want to share it with us or not, doesn't matter. Do it for you. And then let's be intentional with it from there. So hope y'all are good. You have a great night. And sleep tight. And if you need anything or you have any questions about the tracking and giving yourself those percentages, it's totally fine. We all have a breather month anyways because of grace, God's grace, which is good. But if you have any questions on it, let us know. We're here to help. Hope you all have a great night, and make sure you thank Jeff. Go to Jeff Wildly. It's very nice, no hair, tall dude, and he'll thanks. Bye.